Hey everybody, Douglas Scott McCarron again. Been a while. Been working on a lot of projects. I kind of come and go, I know. I suppose I should be here constantly, but I just film when things strike me. It's still cold. Um, it's raining outside, so you may hear some thunder kabooming or rain in the background. I'd apologize, except I didn't cause it. Weather happens, you know? Um, so it's like the middle of March. Few months into the Trump presidency. Very weird watching it. I've watched my IRA lose about 15% of its value. Claims it all going to be good. Glad I have most of my money in CDs, though. At least I don't lose it. I guess it's hard to tell. American democracy seems to be, we're told that we're all supposed to work for the country, but apparently, from what I've noticed in my 70 something years, whenever somebody gets elected president, they go do what they want to do. They follow the laws they want to and try to ignore the ones they don't, or they just take the money away from that area and make it incapable of running. So I don't know. I guess it's like we're democratically electing our king rather than we're actually working for the good of the whole country. It's hard for me to tell sometimes. I know a lot of the people on television, like Sean Hannity, will sit here and talk about he's kind of like talking for the people. And yet, I remember when they had that court case and it was revealed he had like over $80 million. I guess millionaires are of the people, but not exactly working class. And it seems to me most people on television are basically trying to influence us to do what they think. Nothing unusual. You go back and read newspapers from the 1800s and they're trying to convince the voters to vote so-and-so into power, and then the influencer can get what they want out of the government. We've at least given word to working for the whole country. I don't know if it is. We've always been kind of transactional. We my dad used to say we bought area west of the Mississippi and then went in and stole the rest of it fair and square. We've also been, in my lifetime we've tried to have civil rights, but there was during World War II, that was a very racist army. I mean, the whole thing about eugenics the Nazis used, they actually got that from the Americans. There was one fight, where was it, in Australia, I believe it was, where American troops were posted there, and some of the black troops went into town and the bars, and the Australians welcomed it, and the Americans went into town. There was this big day-long, 2-day fight going on, and the Australians demanded the American soldiers be deported, and the Americans said, well, we'll just take our army and go home. So it's not like we've been a terribly wonderful, socially conscious country in our life. But I was kind of hoping we were becoming so. I also find it puzzling, Fox is supposed to be the conservative TV station and CNBC is the liberal, and I'm like, all I see is a bunch of rich people owning the airwaves trying to convince us of their views, and they're really, all of them are just kind of stirring up controversy to have your eyes on it so they can sell advertisement. But I don't know that anyone's particularly left or center, possibly center wing. YouTube, you see a lot of left-wing stuff, but it's like all over the place. But I find it funny that a lot of conservatives talk about there being denied expression, saying as those aren't rich liberals that run the TV and radio stations. You know, they also talk about cutting entitlements, and the great many of the rich people that are getting into politics all live off of government contracts. You know, Elon, SpaceX is a big government contract. Is a satellite thing that a lot of it's paid by the government. But he wants to keep that and take everybody else's support away. Typical guy. A lot of banks kind of get to live off the interest that's helping support the government. So I don't know that that's true that everybody wants cut entitlements. They just want to cut everybody else's entitlements. It would be good, though, to get that debt down. But you got to do a combination of more taxes and some cuts. The reason these social programs got set up was because people were starving in the streets. And during the Depression, people would just raid supermarkets and steal from it. And the government told the grocery stores to send them the bill for what was taken, because otherwise you'd be having these running gun battles everywhere. That, considering that Americans all have the right to have weapons and there's a lot of cheap alcohol around, that would get really weird. But, it could be. Happened before. That's why the social programs were set up, to help people not get in that situation. Now there's this attempt by rich people living on government contracts trying to steal the stuff that helps the working class. Don't know why. I keep talking about making America great again. It seems like, in my experience, the economy was going great, considering there's a downturn and a war going on the past several years. And then, it's interesting watching people, the whole stuff with Canada and Mexico and NATO and everything. And, Trump keeps shifting. This is the way he does business, apparently. He keeps shifting around, but keeping you off balance. But you're supposed to keep your opponents off balance, not your allies. But apparently he doesn't think Canada and Mexico and NATO are our allies. He also has this long history of not paying his debts and reneging on his agreements, so I don't really know what the point is of negotiating with him, because he's just going to renege on it probably. I don't even understand why people are talking to him. They should just all talk to themselves and just kind of ignore him. The United States wants to withdraw from the world. Well, let them withdraw. Go talk to each other and let us withdraw. I think that's stupid, but that seems to be what a lot of people want. Of course, when we can't sell our food and our products and everything, there's this image that before World War II, we were buying and selling from ourselves, and there was some prosperity, and you also had a lot of people living in poverty. It was really, to my mind, the world trade that actually broke it out. And what stole all this discussion about we've lost all our jobs overseas. Well, those countries didn't steal our jobs. Our corporations went overseas to be charged less. Because, the rich people want to get rich and they don't want to pay their workers anything or enough. Which is why we have a minimum wage. I do kind of support having some large amount of percentage of the stuff that's sold here be built here. At least China would hire some workers over here. But that's just kind of where I am. I'm just sitting here watching my IRA go down. The economy hasn't fallen apart, but it's a lot of fear in it. And it's being run by a guy who doesn't pay his debts and doesn't keep his promises and reneges. And I just don't understand why anybody's talking to him, because He'll change his mind or he'll just lie. Anyway, people kind of had this dream of what he was going to be like before he got elected. I hear all these people I'm talking to that are like surprised at what he's doing, even though he said he was going to do it. I think people were projecting their own assumptions and beliefs and wishes on him and just assuming he was going to do that and not listening to him. Anyway, that's where I am right now on that subject. Okay, till next time. Douglas Scott McCarron. Check me out at dsmccarron.com. Check out my lovely merch there. All sorts of t-shirts and stuff, and also got 50 Steps to Guitar Greatness available there. I'd appreciate it if you come come by and check it out. dsmccarron.com. Thank you. Bye.